Has this ever happened to you? Your rod sock drifts too far down on your rod, it gets tangled up on the hooks that are on the bait, that are on the hook keeper. It's happened to most of us and it's super frustrating. It doesn't have to happen. So today we're going to do a video on making your own custom-made rod socks. You can make these rod socks to any length and size you need for any rod. So what we're going to do, we're going to pull up, we're going to go back to the shop, we'll give you all the information you need to know to make your own custom-made rod socks. Let's do it. Before we get back to the shop, I'd like to just go over a couple of the advantages of making your own rod socks. Number one, if you're in a bass boat, it keeps everything nice and tidy up here. You don't have a bunch of extra material flying around down here, catching hooks, so on and so forth. And on this particular rod, I have some 1-inch material. We'll go over that when we talk about making these things. I've got some 1-inch material on here, the sleeve, and it's very tight to the rod, so there's no excess here. If I want to put 2 of them in one rod tube up there, they slide right in, they slide right out. So there's a number of advantages to making your custom socks, and that's just a couple of them. All right, everyone, back in the shop, and we're gonna take a few minutes here. We'll show you guys how to manufacture these rod socks. Real simple, easy, and it's gonna be a fun project for you. You're gonna need a pair of scissors, you're gonna need a heat gun, you're gonna need some 3/8 inch heat shrink, and you're going to need some stuff that they call expandable sleeving. Now this stuff is readily available on the internet. Down in the remarks I'll leave you the information on how you can buy this stuff. And I just want to say, generally I have found that this comes in anywhere from 10 to 100 foot sections. I go ahead and buy 100 feet at a time. You can get it in 1 inch, 1.5 inches, and 2 inches. And again, we're going to be talking about how you can customize these to your rods. The other thing that you're going to need is a wine bottle. You'll see what we use this for in just a minute. Today I will tell you that we are using the 1-inch expandable sleeving. We've got some of this here, and you guys have seen, like I said, it comes in several sizes. This is the 1.5 or 2 inches. 2-inch expandable sleeving. I like the 1-inch rod sleeves because they fit very tight on the rods. So when they're on there, especially we talked about when you're in your boat and you want to jam a couple or maybe 3 rods into a rod tube to stow away, it's nice and tight. You don't have a bunch of excess bulk that you have to shove down in that rod tube. So remember, you can customize these to any length that you need or any size that you need. So with that, let's get right into it. I'm going to have my able-bodied assistant come down here and show you how to do it. I'll be behind the camera. We'll show you everything you need. Let's get into it right now.
Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to show you the procedure that we use to make up one of these rod sleeves. And what we have here is all you guys are going to need: the expandable sleeving, a pair of shears, some shrink tight, a wine bottle, and a heat gun. Again, very, very simple, very, very quick to do. Let's get this stuff out of the way. And what we did here, you'll notice we just got the bench marked here at 60 inches for what we're doing is we have 5 feet, 60 inches. Then I've got another mark here that we use to cut our shrink tight. And again, this is only because we're trying to mass produce these things. It's kind of fun, but we want to get this done so we can go back out and go fishing. So what we do is we take this and roll it out. And we come back, and again, you guys can make these whatever length that you want. Cut those off. And cut off a piece of shrink tight. Then we can set this stuff out of the way. And now we're going to take this, and you'll notice that sometimes when you cut this, it starts to fray at the ends and starts to unravel. Don't let that bother you. Roll this thing up fairly tight. Take your 3/8 shrink tubing. Get that over the top. And sometimes they can be a little difficult. Just roll it in there. And when you go down past, then pull it back, and it cleans up the end. You want this to be about 1/8 of an inch. You want this to be about 1/8 of an inch or so to maybe 3/16 of an inch past the end. And you'll end up with, here's a finished product, and you'll end up with something like this. So it contains the rod sleeve and keeps it nice and tight on the tubing there, expandable tubing. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to take the heat gun now. and we'll get this heat gun set up and show you how we're going to finish this product. When you guys are doing this, keep in mind the heat gun, just by what it does get hot and you can get yourself burnt on this thing. You want to be careful with that. And as you're heating this product up, you're going to notice too that gets hot. Sometimes you might want to wear gloves and stuff. We've been doing this and we kind of watch that. But again, if you want to wear gloves, it's not a bad idea. And as you're heating this, you're going to notice that we're going to keep the heat more towards this end and not travel too far up. We want this to pull down, but you've got to be careful because the heat gun has enough heat where it can damage the expandable tubing, and we don't want to do that. We want to apply most of that heat down here, and it'll actually fuse inside there, and it works quite well. So let's go ahead and get this thing set up, and then we'll show you how to finish up the product. Now, we went ahead and finished that process, and you can see that that's on there. It's pretty tight. And again, don't worry if you're doing this and you say, oh, geez, I've got to heat that up just a little more. Feel free to adjust whatever time you need to do that. And keep in mind, depending on your heat gun, it might take you 20-30 seconds, and that's about it. Now, and so that end is complete. And now we're going to come back and we're going to show you how we're going to develop the bell end on this. And we're going to fold that back in, and again we're going to go back to the heat gun, and that's where your wine bottle comes in. Now we're going to take this and we'll just slide that on up the neck just a little bit, and you see how it's belling out, and you see the fraying here. Don't let that worry you, because what we're going to do is we're going to use a heat gun that's going to fuse these edges down. And as we do that, keep in mind again, like we said earlier, the heat gun is going to get this thing hot. And again, if you feel like you need to wear a glove, hey, wear a glove. It's not a problem at all. And if you don't, hey, that's fine too. So let's go ahead, and again, this will take probably another 20-30 seconds, and you're going to be done with the product. So what you can see, the heat gun, we had the frayed ends, and you can see how those are kind of melted all together, so it's going to stop the sleeve from coming apart. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this off, and now I'm going to show you how we end up finishing this up. We're going to fold these back in, and then we're going to go back to the bottle and the heat gun. So we take this, and you're going to be folding this in very simply, anywhere from 3/8 to a 1/2 inch, and if you can get a little bit more in there, that's fine too, or a little bit less if that works for you. But just fold that back in. And again, you're going to end up with some of the material. See how that's coming out? Don't let that bother you, because as we heat this thing up, we're going to take care of some of that as we heat that up. And then we're going to go back in with the bottle. And then this is where we're going to heat this with the heat gun, and we're going to push this up, and it's going to tighten all of this up. And here you go, we have a finished rod sleeve. Everything's in there, and it should work just fine. And there you have it.
All right, that's about as simple and easy as it gets, guys. Rod socks in maybe 1 or 2 minutes each once you get all set up. It's a fun project. It's something we all need and use. You save a little money. And you know what? It's the middle of winter. We're going to get some more rain here, hopefully. We need some more rain to fill up the lakes and the rivers. But good time to get all your stuff together now. Wait for a rainy day. Come on into the shop. Make up 20 or 30 of these in half an hour, 45 minutes. Invite a friend over. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I want to thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, shoot them over to In Deep on the Delta, and I'll try to answer all your questions. And until that, enjoy making your rod socks. Good luck for 2024. Go out there and catch some big fish. And until the next video, we'll see you guys on the water.